32 raikourider wins. He's playing again tomorrow. Excuse me, tomorrow night.
And we are
at
off.
6 p.m. Well, today we'll have bad luck. That's a bad omen for these guys after that last seed. And we find the very first chest, it turns out to be a blue rupee for 5.
Hey, I had the right color, just the wrong item.
So right now, both of these guys are heading over towards the castle, and they both look to be pretty much in sync with each other. And we have to wonder if Fiesel just put both streams on and just put the wrong color up on JC's end, or rather lessen the color and saturation.
So they are looking a little dark.
Yes, they both pick up their sword from the uncle within a microsecond of each other. And they both kill. And we find 2 different drops. Oh, there's the finger to these guys.
Oh, were you looking for me for 2 hours just a little while ago?
At this point in time, these guys are not going to care that this isn't progressive logic, because after playing the entire seed without the single male, blue or red, they're going to be happy to have this now for the remainder of this game.
Absolutely. Importantly, raikourider has picked up a bomb already in Escape, so he will be able to access the additional portion of the sewer, whereas JC may have to farm for a bomb here.
Why would you want to farm for a bomb? It's not like we've ever seen anything interesting in those 3 chests.
It is odd. It's been a while since we have seen something interesting in those chests, but it has happened before in this tournament.
I'm going to just note that I love that kill from JC. He bumped off that guard and got it so his key fell right in front of the door. That was a brilliant key right there.
It's those NMG strats right there. The chat asks, so how long till a good sword? I don't know. We played the entire seed last time without a good piece of armor, so...
And we find the key in the key. Once again, I love JC's manner of killing off that guard. This is how you get a sub-6, by the way.
Indeed. And we were both amazed at the ability of these runners to do a sub-6 minute escape in Randomizer, and it's little things like that make the difference and save those frames and save those seconds.
Well, here we go. JC opts off to bump off the guard. There's one big difference between raikourider and JC right at this moment, and that is the number that is sitting underneath the blue icon. The 1 versus 0. Well, there's some money. And Raikou opting to go kill the guard with pots.
And the money can come into play. Let's assume that JC doesn't find a bomb in here, although he won't be able to access the additional rooms in the sewer. He will be able to buy bombs in Kakariko Village if necessary to get into the well and Blind's house. And they also have plenty of money for the bottle merchant as well, so having that 300 rupees here in the beginning really helps them clear out some of the items in the beginning.
And JC now making his way back upstairs here with the princess in tow. There's nothing much else we can say about this here, because it's all stuff we have mentioned before in regards to this entire run. You save the girl, bring her over to Sanctuary, and I've done some other things during the course of other commentaries to kind of just say, this has all been done before.
Indeed. And with apologies to Forrest Gump, I went down into the castle again. Saved the princess again. But this is one of the few times in a randomizer run that execution is more important than decision making, because it is the same every single time. People who have practiced the No Major Glitches run of vanilla probably have a little bit of a time advantage coming out of here.
And JC picking up the bomb, so we don't have to speculate what he's going to be missing out on. He's perfectly fine here. And finds a piece of heart for his troubles.
But again, finding the red mail in one of those first chests does harken back to the previous run where we did see Raikourider take a couple of deaths. So finding the red mail that early will make it much less likely that he'll have to worry about taking a death in this game.
And JC now picking up the bombs and getting more bombs. He doesn't have to worry about them, and here we go. There's the fighter shield, there's a heart, and there's another heart. And that's Sanctuary Heart in the same chest it was in the first game.
Random, huh?
By the way, that makes it so I believe the map is going to be in the Sanctuary chest.
I believe you are correct. We have not seen the burrito yet, so it'll be interesting to see if either of these runners just goes ahead and skips the chest, although that may not occur after we did have one runner skip the Sanctuary chest, or this particular chest before.
No,
we were both wrong.
All right, well, we did find the burrito. All right. Oh, I believe it was in the room with the guard that dropped the key.
That is correct.
So, both getting some money out of this here, and we take a look at the map, and all 3 Light World dungeons are crystals. Also, Desert's number 5.
So, as JC heads up to check Lumberjacks again, will we have another Aghanim required seed here? And also, remember now that since all Light World dungeons are crystals, we will need the Mirror, Book of Medora, and the Bow to clear all 3 of them. Looks like just a little bit of love for the Lumberjacks, and they're okay.
Yep. Speaking of a little bit of love, the tree drop was a little bit of love right there, and Raikou now finding out that it was indeed a piece of heart that is inside the Lumberjack cave. He needs no further exploration here, hoping that Aghanim 1 is not required this time around. And there's more love there on JC's end.
He opts to skip it there as he dives down into the hole here and picks up 50 more rupees.
50 rupees, still very good. It's definitely needed at this point to be picking up rupees because you're going to be needing it for Zor at some point in time. And we see, oh well, there's the bomb explosion off the tree.
Yeah. So JC, who at once was wanting for bombs, is wanting for them.
So JC first to town. We're gonna find out what's in these gazillion chests.
As we go out, we notice that both of them take the standard Kakariko Village route. I have seen some runners before, rather than going around to Kakariko Village, head down to the dam and to Lake Hypelia Cave. So, but neither one of them opting to do that this time.
I think the general idea is that based on how many rupees you have leaving Kakariko Village, we get the Power Glove pickup. JC's end. I think it just depends on how many rupees you have leaving Escape. If you don't have a lot of rupees, it might be best to go ahead and check South Shore first to find out what's there, and then have enough rupees to come back to Kakariko Village, because you don't want to have to return with the 100 rupees to get from the bottle merchant. Shovel also picked up there on JC's end, which means these guys will not save and quit once they find out what's the up for bids at the race game today.
All right, they will head straight to the Haunted Grove and go ahead and dig up the spot where you find the flute in Vanilla.
Now, we do have an opportunity for a routing change from both of these guys here, as one may opt to go Death Mountain.
That is true. Instead of... you can get the Old Man, and you can get the item in Spectacle Rock Cave with just the lift upgrade.
Raikou having to buy some bombs because he didn't tug on the tree to find the 8 bomb drops, so that's where JC can gain an advantage here. Now, neither of these guys have picked up a bottle so far, so the sick kid is out of question.
And that is the bow in the tavern. So,
as we say that both in unison.
Great minds think alike. What can I say? So that means that either one of these guys will be able to head on to Eastern Palace, which would not be a bad move, considering there are 3 items in Sahasrarla's hut right next door to Eastern Palace, as well as the 3 items in Eastern Palace itself. Raikourider getting the the cuckoo glitch in the with the bomb there.
And Jaysee picking up the bow, so he will be good to go here if he wants to check on over to Eastern Palace. So there are several possibilities coming out of Kakariko Village where these guys can go.
And we wonder if Raikourider will choose to take what we would believe would be the lower percentage route here in the hopes of getting the leg up on his competition after being down 1-0.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that because he's down 1-0, he might be feeling that he's got to take some risks. And we find a piece of heart over at the race game. Jaysee's going to go ahead and do some digging now.
We'll see the first of many possible fetch quests here from Jaysee.
So Raikou, like I said, both of these runners have pretty much 3 options coming out of the village right now. They can go South Shore on the conventional route. The hook shot, well...
And that leads me to believe that Jaysee will likely head to Death Mountain. Now that he has the hook shot, there are a multitude of items on Death Mountain that he can get.
But I'm surprised he's not saving and quitting if that's the case.
It looks like he's going to head over to the dam and to Lake Hyplia Cave, which... I mean, you can't say is a bad play, but it's certainly not the route with the most number of options at this point.
Well, he's making quick work with the use of the hook shot.
Now he has a bottle. Does he route around a sick kid? And does he remember about sick kid? We have seen a racer in this tournament so far forget about sick kid until very late in the game.
Raikourider about to pick up the hook shot, and once again, the decision is where will these guys go once they're done with here? At Jaysee now finding out that we have a bomb increase outside of the dam today.
And he says, nope, thanks, but no thanks. As we head over to Lake Hyplia, it looks like both of these guys, again, are taking the same route. In their previous race, they were pretty much in sync until, I believe, Jaysee decided to run into Eastern Palace, which turned out to be one of the deciding factors in that race.
But you notice also that Raikourider not opting to use the hook shot as he made his way from the Haunted Grove over to the dam. That just shows you the difference in speed at this point.
It's such a small thing. Oh, magic mirror in Lake Hyplia Cave.
And that means Tarahera is now accessible by both of these runners once Raikou makes his way over to the Light World Hype Cave.
So will Jaysee do the fake flippers? He did last game. Is he going to do that again this game? Looks like he will. First try, fake flippers.
And Raikou forgetting that he does have an easier way to kill these things with an extended weapon.
And the hook shot will kill many Moldorms in one hit.
And you can use that as a ranged attack as well, but he does take care of them without too much trouble. And he'll find the mirror real fast. Jaysee going to check the hobo. Let's find out what's in there. And we have a route divergence here as Raikourider now is saving and quitting, and he is heading to Sanctuary. He looks like he's about ready to head over to... Oh, we get the Tempered Sword on Jaysee's end. Raikourider's heading over to Death Mountain.
So with the Tempered Sword, if this were an Aghanim required seed, you might be thinking, let's go ahead and head over to Aghanim, but it does provide a great advantage because pretty much everything in the light world will die to one hit from Tempered Sword.
Jaysee now taking the bottle back to the sick kid. Routing divergence here.
This does take a considerable amount of time for where he is right now, so let's hope that pays off. And we're talking only about seconds here, but They can begin to add up, and
a fire rod.
And it does indeed pay off.
But catching that for raikourider. And JC now heading, he looks like he's heading over towards Eastern.
Not a bad call whatsoever. All Light World dungeons are crystals, so, and again, with the tempered sword, very few things in there are going to pose any threat to him whatsoever.
So we're going to check over Sarashvala's hut and see what's inside. And by the way, that does make Tower of Hera fully beatable for JC now.
Doesn't have to worry about the item in the basement, because since he has a fire source, he can complete it.
And we get money, and silver arrows.
So I've given the location of silver arrows. I very seriously doubt either one of these racers will.
Earl on raikourider's end.
It's interesting. This route divergence is paying off for both of our runners here. Both of them finding significant items, even though they have gone completely separate ways here.
Well, the thing is that both of these players are at obvious spots that the other's going to check. So there's really no advantage at this point.
Is correct. You have to assume that Raikou will head straight from over here over to Tower of Hera. Probably, magic cape, and
there's your flippers.
It wouldn't be a terrible play from here to head over to Tower of Hera, and even though you don't have a fire source. Because the fire source is only necessary for that one room in the basement.
So with the Moon Pearl in hand, there's not much that raikourider can do in regards to the Dark World at this point.
No, because in order to get to the Dark World on this side of Death Mountain, he would need to have the Titan's Mitts. Or the hammer.
And raikourider going to check the top here, the floating island, where the Cane Samaria was in game 1. This time, nope. Not required.
So raikourider again doing the spiral cave with no boots.
The bootless spiral cave, you meant to say.
Yeah. JC making short work of the Eastern Palace here, but one thing to note there is that he just swung the tempered sword at a stall child, and it didn't kill him, because sometimes the beam from the Master Sword can actually interfere with Tempered Sword or Butter Sword doing full damage.
And raikourider now looks like he's getting ready to check out and see what the Tower of Hera has in store for him.
Troll Dorm at its finest. It's JC going the long way around to get the chest, the vanilla big key chest location.
And we find bombs on top of Spectacle Rock, and no. Just no. We find the hammer in Spectacle Rock. That's a yes.
That's an absolute yes. Probably the item that is required for the most dungeons in this game.
That is correct. It is the item that, you can't get away. You need to have. We've mentioned this in game number 1. Things like the bow, the hammer, the moon pearl. You're always going to need them. The Titan's Mitt. You're always going to need those items, no matter what the seed is.
And then other items like the Cane of Samaria, specific medallions, the Book of Mudora, the flute, and the ice and fire rods. Highly, highly likely that you're going to need them.
But sometimes you don't.
Right.
And the hook shot. I always forget about the hook shot.
Yeah, thank you, chat. We both forgot about the hook shot.
I always forget about the hook shot. But there's 2 spots where you need the hook shot, especially in Ganon's Tower. 3 spots, actually. Moldern 2, which is the obvious one. And then the long corridor near that room you go to get chests 4 through 7.
Yep.
And the fireball room where you get to chest number 9.
Unless, of course, you're dodecahedron and you can just hover across all of that. But why would you want to if you don't have to?
For the swag and the flute is the item out of Eastern Palace.
And the silver arrows making short work of the Armos Knights. So the flute will enable JC to travel about the world much more quickly. So that could give him a bit of an advantage here. Oh, and Raikou falling down the hole. I don't know if a squiddy knocked him into the hole or if that was just an execution error on his part.
Now also remember that Raikou is doing the Tower of Hera with a fighter sword. That's going to be an advantage that JC's going to have when he gets up to the Tower of Hera with his tempered sword.
It is correct. Now, I have seen it is possible to use the hammer on Moldorm, but that requires some significant execution.
Small hitbox.
Although the hammer does do tempered sword damage, so...
And JC now opting to go ahead and activate the swag dunk, and since this is the second game of 2 between these guys, we're not going to have you stand and rise to the national anthem. And Raikou just getting the mushroom before he falls down the hole.
Yet another fetch quest initiated here. Wonder what the drug deal is going to be for in this game.
Can't be too much worse than the fetch quest last time around.
So JC now making his way through Death Mountain. He's going to pick up the old man here.
Yeah, he's going to backdoor the old man and take him back home. And Raikou is going to cape his way through Moldern, so it does not look like he's going to hammer time him.
It's probably a smart play there, ensuring that don't get knocked off by Moldorm.
One thing that
using it.
One thing that Raikou has got to be careful though is it takes 6 hits here to knock him off, and Raikou gets knocked off himself.
Indeed. Now it's going to take him 6 more hits.
So, as you mentioned, he was surprising that he didn't use the, he didn't opt to use the magic cape, because I think he was waiting for the point here where he was going to get to his fast state in between hits 5 and 6.
But even with standard magic, and I'm not sure, this may not work with the fighter sword, but I know with the master sword, if you have the cape activated, and you basically spam the sword button. Ooh, that was
Raikou
close.
gets it.
If you spam the sword button while you have magic cape activated, it kind of glitches the magic drain and doesn't use as much magic. Now, Rick, the Moldorm dropped the compass there, and Raikou does not have a fire source, so that could come back and haunt him later on.
You are right. You are right. And we'll find when JC makes his way over to Tower of Hera what Raikou missed out on. Raikou now, I believe he's going to head to Eastern Palace next, and, well, he'll be happy to get the silvers to kill the beast. He might want to think about checking the hobo at some point in time really soon now that he got flippers, because that would definitely help him out with the tempered sword.
So, as you pointed out, he's going to be going through a dungeon with fighter sword that JC went through with tempered sword, so not going to be as quick.
And the thing is that Raikou right now does not have a fire source, so there's no reason for him to do the tile room. It's an unwinnable spot. And JC picking up the Moon Pearl. This has been a slow seed because these guys don't have boots.
And that too. It has been slower so far, but it has been steady. It seems like everywhere our runners have gone, they have found something important. But just one at a time. Jaysee in Death Mountain Hype Cave there, finding the flippers and the magic cape. So neither one of these runners has gone to Zora yet. Both have sufficient rupees to do it, though.
I think they both been on the mindset is to go where the items are and go through dungeons when they need to do so. Jaysee now trying to do the bomb jump here. He messed out of the first time around. Can he get it the second time around? Yes, he does.
So we're gonna have no surprises here for the next few minutes because both of these runners are headed to places that their opponent has cleared. But this is a good time to remind all of you, follow these runners here on Twitch. Follow Speed Gaming 2 for all of your speed running needs, and for the rest of the 2017 Link to the Past Randomizer tournament.
What kind of moments have you enjoyed so far in this tournament?
Well, I mean, even from the last race when Moldorm rejected one of our runners when he jumped down and attacked him, that's been an amazing moment. There's been some heartbreaking moments, like one of our runners forgetting to check the sanctuary chest, and that ending up costing him the match. Moments where in a three-way race we have had one of the runners check the basement of Tower of Hera, two of the other runners not checking it. Ended up being the ice rod when Turtle Rock was required. Moments like those that make you realize that, you know, execution and your ability to play the game are great, but sometimes decision making is much, much more important.
I was about to say, I'm surprised Raikou has not opted to go throw the pots at these staff horses to try to make things easier for him.
Considering that he has the fighter sword, yeah, it seems that would be the quicker play there, because the pots will take them out in one hit. Pots do as much damage as 3 fighter sword strikes, if my memory serves me correctly.
Raikou opting to go to the right-hand side, wanting to make sure he gets the items out of here so he doesn't miss out on anything. I think at some point in time he'll be happy to pick up the flute. We don't know if the flute is officially required this seed, but it's always a nice transport to have.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you such quick access to certain Dark World teleporters, as well as access to the best potion merchant in the game. And also it's pretty much the only way to get to Misery Mire and the 3 items hanging around the Misery Mire area.
And we've seen seeds where Misery Mire turned out to be a pendant dungeon, and yet there was something either in Misery Mire or surrounding Misery Mire that made the flute required.
And that is the beauty of the randomizer, is that it takes your knowledge of the vanilla game and, you know, kind of doesn't really turn it on its head, but will kind of test your knowledge of where items are and what items are required to get where. And it's also... Go ahead.
I was going to note that Jaysee ends up falling down, but then again, I just remembered, without boots, these guys don't have a way to bomb their way across, so they almost have to fall down. Unless they do a bomb jump, and good luck doing that with that thing floating around the chest.
Yeah, we did have you're asking about moments in this tournament, Rick. We did have one runner who did about 3 or 4 laps around that big chest here in Tower of Hera, trying to bonk off of it, but being constantly chased by the spark around.
Could have been an amusement park ride.
And somebody clipped it and set it to the to Yakety Sax from the Benny Hill show.
Oh my god, that was funny. So silver arrows turn out to be in the back of Sarashala's vault. They all decided to grab it early here, so no serverless scanning tonight. Sorry.
Not at all. And Silver Arrow is some of the most powerful, probably the most powerful weapon in the game. There are so many enemies, including a boss enemy, as you just saw, that it just one-shots.
Well, here's the thing. You remember the whole thing about Raikou not having a fire source?
And we're about to see if that was important, because JC is heading down to the basement.
So if this turns out to be an important item here, then Raikou's going to have a disadvantage.
And you'd hate to see that happen after, you know, he didn't really make any routing mistakes in the previous game. So you would hate to see something like this, you know, end up twice in a row, where it wasn't really a matter of his decision making or routing, but just a matter of almost luck.
Raikou is opting to go into the Dark World, and we're going to take a look. And this time around, it is Ice Palace, Misery Mire, and Skull Woods are your pendant dungeons. Skull Woods is the green pendant. Oh, Turtle Rock is the number 6.
So Ice and Fire Rod are both going to be required in this seed, but I don't think anybody's going to be shedding any tears about Misery Mire and Ice Palace not necessarily being required.
So that flute may not be required. Now, it looks to me like Raikou's thinking about going to... No, I thought he was going to head on over to Palace of Darkness, but it looks like he might be checking out the Pyramid Ledge.
It's true. He does not yet have the lantern, so we're not certain that that he's comfortable with dark dungeons.
And I didn't notice this. I did not notice what JC ended up getting inside the bottom, but it must not have been very important.
So Raikou going ahead and use the mirror trick for the short path to the hobo here.
Oh, right. That is a very good idea. I actually like that. And he's going to pick up the tempered.
Yep.
And it was a bomb upgrade in the basement, I was being told. But that's a splendid idea there on Raikou's end.
That is definitely the shortest route to the hobo, but of course it does require the flippers. So sometimes runners like to use the fake flippers to check the hobo early to kind of sequence break the logic, so to speak.
Now, you know the one thing here. The one big thing here is that they both have access to the Desert Palace. The back doorway, that is.
They do, and JC would be able to complete it with a fire source, but Raikou would not.
That's correct. And we're going to find out what the item is on the Pyramid Ledge. Hopefully Raikou, when he goes to activate the duck, will remember that he's got the sick kid to turn in the bottle. Oh, the Titan's Mitt on the Pyramid Ledge.
So, you know, it's very interesting, Rick. In the previous game, the runner who found the mitts first had a huge advantage. And so last time it was JC, this time it is Raikou. And just like last time, one runner has the power glove, so isn't desperately looking for the mitts because he already has a lift upgrade. Will JC think to check the pyramid?
He would almost have to. I don't see why he wouldn't. Oh, the Ether Medallion turns out to be in the chest game.
And we don't yet know if that's going to be important. Turtle Rock is a required dungeon, so if that is the required medallion for Turtle Rock, that will be important.
As we see JC popping into Thieves Town. 4 items, and this time a crystal dungeon.
Raikou throwing a skull in to wake up the catfish and see what he has in store for us today.
And we find inside the catfish 100 rupees. Now Raikou, good decision. Yep. I was about to say, don't save and quit. You gotta check the Zora here.
Yep. Good routing decision by raikourider. Turns a low percentage, single item with a long trek like catfish into a 3-item route, and just $20 on the ledge there. So here's hoping that Zora has more than a life lesson for raikourider today.
35 minutes and no boots, so this is going to be a slow walk here. We haven't seen where the boots are at this point. But what does Zora have for 500 rupees?
And
$50 for 500.
Just a life lesson. So two seeds in a row where Zora's just had a life lesson for our runners.
So Raikou now with the flute in hand is going to make his way over to Kakariko Village. Would have to assume at that point he's also going to turn in the bottle for the sick kid there and give himself access to the fire rod.
So definitely a required item because Turtle Rock, but Skull Woods being a pendant dungeon, it's not as important. So because most of our runners will save Turtle Rock for last because it is right next door to Ganon's Tower.
That's correct here, and Raikou now activating the Swag Duck here. And probably, if he makes his route proper, we'll go ahead and turn in the bottle of the sick kid. Again, we know it's required for him to do so. It is for the fire rod. It is a required item.
So one item that's not...
And here he goes.
So he will be happy to get the fire rod from Sick Kid. So one item that these runners have not yet found that this particular version of the logic will not require them, or will not require them not to have, is the lantern, because this version of the logic does not assume that you can complete dark rooms and dungeons. It will never require you to do that.
I think Raikou was thinking about it here. Will opt to get himself the back door into the desert.
Certainly check the ledge and see if he checks the medallion for Misery Mire. Nope.
Well, it's a pendant, so... Or no, it is a...
It's a pendant.
It's a pendant, so he might not be too worried about it.
As we discussed earlier, we have seen seeds where Misery Mire was a pendant dungeon and yet was still required. JC checking out the big chest in Thieves Town, and it's just $20.
So Raikou will end up checking the northeast here, and all likelihood will end up heading into the Desert Palace.
JC about to retrieve Blind in Disguise.
And a piece of heart, Raikou says no. And we find another bottle in JC in Thieves Town.
If these guys do not end up finding the half magic in this seed, it might be why one of them might decide to pick up a magic potion, particularly for the Trinex fight.
So, JC and Raikou in game number 1 never gave us the chance to have a blind pun. We're going to get it here on JC's end in just a moment.
And the pun is...
That combined with the bad luck statement from the uncle. This is just making for a miserable trolling these guys in game number 2 after game 1 gave them no help whatsoever.
Yeah, these this seed seems to have it in for our guys.
Raikou getting the big key. And the compass, the drop from the boss here in Thieves Town. JC ends up grabbing the crystal out of there to take a 3-2 crystal lead, but Raikou now in a crystal dungeon of his own in desert.
This also goes to show you that even given the level of play and the level of skill that our runners have, and even with the red mail, sometimes this game can be pretty dangerous. JC was on his last heart when he defeated Blind just there.
And so JC making his way through the village of Outcast, and we find 10 more arrows to his quiver. And we found the map, by the way, on the torch, which is good news here for Raikou, because I forgot, guess what? You don't have boots. This might not be a winnable dungeon, but we do have the ice rod.
So that's important, which it's great that the ice rod is in here, but since both of our runners will have to come through this dungeon anyway, since Desert Palace is a crystal dungeon, it's not as big of a scoop for a raikourider as it could have been.
So we have boots, which would be a nice thing, but not necessarily required by the game at this point.
And surely not required to defeat the Desert Palace.
But the Cane of Samaria, and Raikou still needs medallions. We don't know what the medallion is to get into Turtle's Rock. We might find out at some point in time when one of them opts to try the Hookshot Cave. But what makes this interesting here is that this has been moving along kind of at a quicker pace. Not necessarily walking style, but hey, we're talking maybe realistically 2 or 3 items away from Go Mode at this point.
That's true. Now, the interesting thing is, though, that anyone who's holding out for a pedestal seed, since we don't know the medallions that are required for Turtle Rock or Misery Mire, it is possible that one of those medallions could be on the pedestal.
But here's the other thing. We don't know what can be in the pedestal at this moment because, well... Oh, nice kill on Raikou. And there's the Cane of Samaria.
Cane of Samaria. And the way this seed is going, you know, all the speculation about the pedestal aside, it's entirely possible these guys may not ever have to go outside of Crystal Dungeons.
Still waiting to see what is going to be in Turtle Rock. And we're going to find what's over in Nagita's cave. So right now, both of these guys 3-3 as far as crystals are concerned. JC's probably now making his way over to the Dark World Hype Cave. Let's see if it's really going to be hypeful today.
I know that JC is in a good position to go ahead and clear Swamp Palace as well.
That is correct. Raikou now heading on over to the Sanctuary. He's going to flute somewhere. I don't think either of these guys have traded in that mushroom just yet.
No, neither one of them has decided to do the drug deal.
There's the book.
Book Medora, $20.
There's the lantern.
JC is in a good position here to hit the Swamp Palace, then probably swing around to Palace of Darkness, which is not that far.
Well, he's going to actually head in a different direction. You want to know why?
Why is that, Adirondack Rick?
Because he wants to get the item on the Pyramid Ledge.
Ah.
We know what the item on the Pyramid Ledge is, something that he really needs in this game.
Absolutely.
Either pick up there for Raikou, he's probably going to be going to Thieves Town real soon. If Raikou routes this pretty good, he might be, again, depending on what is the scenario here for Turtle Walk, might be on Go Mode soon.
That is true.
But here's the thing, Phantom Rio.
Yes, sir.
What if this is that rare seed that the boots are required to get the big key off the chest at Ganon's Tower?
And they're in Misery Mire. Oh my gosh. Endless ways that the randomizer control you.
What if the boots turned out to be in the pedestal?
Pedestal hype. Come on, chat. Get us your pedestal hype up there.
JC opting to bring the mushroom back to the witch. We'll find out what the drug deal is this time around. Like, right now, for both of these players, these guys have found things. But it's things that the other is going to find in due time. Our container found here, that's what you're going to get for your mushroom today. You're going to get some love. Insert your own jokes.
Yeah, no, I can't. This is a family-friendly stream. All right.
Oh, God.
The JC looks like he is going to do what raikourider did just a minute ago, check Catfish, and then warp into Zora.
That would be a good decision. We know it's not going to pay off for him, but it's a good routing decision.
Absolutely. But so far, none of the important items that we've seen, like the flute, the lantern, the hammer, the rods, none of them have been in significantly out of the way places, and nothing has been in a pendant dungeon.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. If it wasn't a significantly out of the way place, then it would give somebody an advantage. But it's right now we're just coming down to execution at this point in time. And I bet right now Raiku's much happier to have the red mail than he was the first time he was going through this dungeon about 90 minutes ago.
Particularly this is the trolliest room in this dungeon. Especially without the boots.
So there's still a lot of possibilities where the boots can end up. We don't know where they will be. There's a lot of possibilities where other things can end up. We don't know.
Yeah, and we also don't even know if the boots are required for this seed or not.
JC's opting to head over to the Dark Death Mountain, and we're gonna maybe get some answers, like what medallion is required for Turtle Rock.
I mean, we have the Hookshot Cave, which has 5 items in it, so it's another distinct possibility of, because he still, we know where the Cane of Samaria is. He still needs it. He doesn't know where it is. He doesn't know where the ice rod is, even though we do. So definitely the Hookshot Cave here is a good call.
How do we know that information? Are we psychic?
No, we've been watching Raikourider. Oh darn it! I just gave away our secret, didn't I?
We're gonna have to cut this out of your salary.
Wait a minute, I'm getting paid?
Yeah, didn't you realize?
They're probably paying you, Rick, but they wouldn't be paying me.
Oh, Bombos turns out to be the medallion required to get into Turtle Rock, so we are not there yet, guys.
No, we're not, and that still leaves the possibility that Bombos could be on the pedestal.
Wouldn't that be awful?
Maybe for the runners, but not for the chat, and not for the commentators.
And we find a green rupee. And we find a piece of heart. Things that JC don't want to find. I'll take items for 200, Alex.
It's funny you mentioned that. I'm actually in school right now with a fellow Army lawyer who actually appeared on Jeopardy.
Did he end up winning the big money?
He did. He did very well for himself. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met.
That's awesome.
Back to the important action right now. Raikourider, hopefully he will remember to use the cape. He was up against Moldorm earlier and didn't pop the cape, but
he's gonna have to... Oh no! Oh! I think he hit the Y button twice because you saw him flicker.
It's hard to tell when you're watching a stream, but oh man.
So while we wait for JC to go ahead and check the Ether tablet here, find out what the item is, what was the Final Jeopardy clue?
Oh god, I don't remember.
Piece of heart out of the Ether medallion.
Oh. Wow, okay, today I learned that if you die during the blind fight, you don't have to go back. I thought you had to go back down to the dungeon and pick blind back up.
No, you just go right straight back to the boss room. But Raiku's going to have to think about using the cape a little bit sooner here. I know he's worried about the magic consumption, but he does not want to have to go make this repeat trick. And there's 1, there's 2, and 3, he's down.
Yeah. I guess, like I was saying earlier, you just spam your sword button and it will decrease the rate at which your magic goes down. raikourider redeeming himself now against blind.
50 minutes. No boots. This is such a slow walk.
Yeah. To quote the uncle, this seat is bootless until boots.
I like that.
Jaysee hitting up Alec Baldwin's digging game.
And what do you think we're going to find here in the digging game this time around? We do know that these runners now need bombos.
Single arrow.
Ooh, bombos!
Ooh, bombos! Rick, you are psychic.
I try. So, Raiku's going to be very happy. He doesn't know why, but he's going to be happy to get bombos. By the way, once he gets to the hype cave and gets the lantern, we can pretty much put him in go mode.
We certainly can. Jaysee,
53 minutes in go mode. But he's not going to know it, though.
No.
Because he hasn't made his way up to Turtle Rock.
We'll see what happens here. And he might take the long... Oh, he is going back up. Oh.
Yeah, he's going to be doing the Return of the Frog. Like, we know he's not going to make immediate play here for the Hype Cave. No. Find out that the 20 rupees is on Jaycee's end here. And we got pretty much a high five coming up for both of these runners.
So yeah, he dropped down and did the digging game. Both of them did, because you cannot do the digging game if you have either the frog or the chest in tow.
Yeah, and we found out the hard way, because that's what led to the Frog World Tour on Parisians. And oh, Butter Sword from the Tempered guys today.
Always nice to have.
All right, guys, get your stick of margarine out. Feasley, you got to work on getting a margarine emote.
Absolutely. Or just something that says it's like butter.
I know there's been some consideration being talked about here in Discord.
And why not?
Nine Knacker says it best. Butter sword from the bread bakers.
Hey. You got bread, you got butter. You put them together, it's delicious. I love it.
JC doesn't know it at this point, but he's a trip over to the Desert Palace away from being in go mode.
It's interesting. Both of our runners right now are very close to being in go mode, and they don't know it. In the chat saying, I want toast so bad now.
Well, I know of a streamer who does peanut butter toast, which is why that's his subscriber emote, but we won't go there. He's not in the tournament. It's, that's all we can say about it.
JC about to go ahead and get Gary to open up his lunchbox.
Why do we call him Gary?
That's an answer to that, or that's a question to which I do not know the answer.
Gary's got an arrow upgrade.
With the silver arrows, it's probably a good thing, because you can just obliterate so many enemies with those.
I love the fact that the chat right now, all whatever amount of people that are watching us right now, are getting into a debate about what to have on toast. And the green goo falls from the Bombos tab.
Oh, that's one thing you can put on your toast, the green goo.
Nah, seems too slimy.
Are you old enough to remember, Rick, when they had green ketchup? When Heinz came out with the green ketchup?
Oh, God, yes, I do remember that. That wasn't a pleasant experience. And JC now making his way over to Misery Mire. He's going to go ahead and check the two chests inside here. Go and check the northeast of the desert. And then we're going to see him head into the the Desert Palace.
He will be happy to find the ice rod.
Also, they're remarking about remembering purple ketchup. I remember seeing that too in the stores. Never tried it.
Yeah, neither did I.
So, Raikou might not know it right at this moment, but he's about to enter. I'll let you do it again, Rio. Watch your headphones, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Raikourider, though he does not know it, has achieved. Go!
Mode. Your microphone is way too powerless for your go mode.
Rip mic. Yep. Actually, I think I have automatic attenuation on it, just so it doesn't completely blow people's.
So you can tell that Raikourider does not know that he's in go mode because he is going to head on over to the Bombos tablet. That's because he doesn't know what the medallion needed for Turtle Rock is. Plus, he might be thinking that the boots are needed.
And he's already in this area, so... And because he doesn't know that he's in go mode, might as well check the tablet here.
But there's a problem. Jaycee's about to enter go mode really soon, and he will know that he's on go mode.
It's kind of like Schrodinger's go mode.
And Raikou now taking the flute. He is heading up to Death Mountain. I think he will get some confirmation really soon that he's now officially in go mode. As Jaysee picks up the ice rod. These guys are still very, very close to each other. The difference between these two right now, one crystal, that's because Raikou has finished off Desert Palace, whereas Jaysee is on his way through there right now.
So as Raikou is heading up here, and he's, we have to believe he's going to check the medallion needed for Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and that's going to tell him everything at that point.
Does he go into Turtle Rock right now? Again, a lot of people like to save it for last because it's right next door to Ganon's Tower. I would have to do it right now if I were him.
No, I would not. There's no reason to go through Turtle Rock at this point. He's going to buy the potion, though. You still got other things you got to do. You got to do Swamp Palace. You might as well at least find out. And this is what I think Raikou's up to here. He's going to find out what he needs to get into Turtle Rock, and then he will know it's go time. And then it's going to be a complete execution race to the finish here between Raikourider and Jaysee, because they both will have Swamp Palace still to do. They will have to go through Palace of Darkness, and then they will have to go through Turtle Rock.
And right here, as soon as Jaysee defeats Landmala's, our runners will be exactly tied for crystals.
And they'll be both with the same sort of knowledge here. Jaysee just knocking off the Lamolas really fast with the Fire Rod. He gets the Cane of Samaria. He is on go mode. 58 minutes. We are on go mode. Raikou getting the information about the Bombos. What he does next will determine some things. Now he
is indecisive, apparently.
He's going to reconfirm it. He needs to reconfirm it. That's right. It's Bombos. You're on go mode, Raikou. Now, is he popping into Turtle Rock now?
I think he is. I think he's going to go ahead and hit it.
Or is he just going to activate it now? Meanwhile, what is Jaysee up to? Oh, he's going to check the pedestal.
It's interesting. He should know he's in go mode, and therefore checking the pedestal is
He might want to find out if the boots are there. Raikou is going into Turtle Rock. Here we go, guys. What is in the pedestal? Just a little piece of love. No boots.
And the hopes and dreams of the chat have been dashed by the lack of boots on the pedestal.
So where are the boots? That is an interesting concept. And this is just quite bizarre, the fact that we have a seed this weird, this defined. And I think I know why Raiku's doing what he's doing. You have to check chests in Turtle Rock. Maybe he's hoping to come across the boots in here.
But the boots are not, unless I'm missing my guess, Rick, the boots are not going to be required.
But the boots would make it so much faster.
That is true. But I am wondering if the fact that Eastern Palace was, or not Eastern Palace, Desert Palace was set up so that the boots were not required, does that mean that the boots are in Ganon's tower?
That's also a possibility, too. We could have a bootless seed here.
Or boots with Trinex, as the chat is saying. That would be awesome.
This might be the slowest go mode you're ever going to see.
No boots. Yeah, it has been a while. We did see a couple of pedestal required seeds in pools, but we have yet to see a pedestal required seed in bracket round. We
had one bracket race where the lantern turned out to be there, which was logically defined as required, but nothing like what you mean. Raiku's gonna have to be careful. Even with the red mail, this chain chomp room can pack a punch. Whoa!
Well, he does have some potions, and were I would use them right now.
Like right this moment.
Yeah. Because even though you have that anti-fairy sitting there, sometimes they control you, and he doesn't have the magic powder either, so...
So, I think this really comes down to an interesting question, is when does one find the boots?
I'm really feeling that this will be a bootless seed. I don't think these guys will... If they do find it, I think they're going to be in Ganon's tower.
Oh, the lag. Oh, the lag.
Eyeballs shooting spaghetti at you, 4 anti-fairies.
Jaycee's still checking chests. This is interesting. Maybe he is hoping to come across the boots himself. Because you gotta remember, the person who gets boots can go a lot faster than the person without boots.
But even over the no major glitches run, bootless only saves about 4 minutes, if my memory serves me correctly.
You remember the last race came down to what was it, about 8 minutes at the end?
Around there, and so yeah, you're correct. It could be a huge difference maker. So is Raikou going to check Mimic Cave? I doubt it.
There's no reason. I don't think there's really good reason to do so. Now, wouldn't it be funny if that turned out to be the case?
Yeah, if those were the boots, absolutely. The JC also could be fishing for the half magic as well. So Raikou does have a key, which means he should be okay for the rest of Turtle Rock.
Well, he hasn't skipped over any chests, so he knows that the second key is either in one of the 5 remaining chests in this dungeon. That's not it.
No. So the only thing that could be a problem here for raikourider is if the key is in the laser room, or as my wife Sleepy Frau calls it, the spaghetti room, because those eye lasers look like spaghetti to her.
And it is definitely in the laser room.
Yep. So since Raikou doesn't have the mirror shield, spaghetti lasers can be extremely trolly.
Now, he does not have a lot of magic left, which is going to be a problem, and he ends up falling.
Now, I do notice that our expert tracker did note that he has a green... He does have the green goo, so that So that may not be as much of a factor as it could be.
That's correct, because they both got that off the bombos. Now, if you notice also one other thing that Raikou is doing here, he's setting himself up that if in the event that he ends up failing during here, and where is he going?
Yeah, he forgot that he didn't get the key. He was setting up the safety and forgot that he needed to get a key out of that room.
There he goes. There he goes. Now, chest number 1 has laser and a heart container. Chest number 2 has piece of heart.
JC didn't.
Oh, well, once again, he had that starting position where he does. This really is not a bad death to take.
No, not at all, because there he is. Bam, right there. JC has made his shrimp scampi.
There's the key right there. And shrimp scampi down. JC is going to be heading to the Palace of Darkness next, I would have to assume.
He's fluting out. Yep, exactly. Palace of Darkness. Raikou having a little bit of trouble keeping his footing here.
I know he bought that red potion a little bit ago.
I think he's used the red one.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
So he's gonna need to be fishing, and he doesn't have the magic powder, which would, this room would be a fairy farm. I think there's 3 anti-fairies in here, maybe only 2, but still, it would. If he had the magic powder, he would not be in terribly much danger.
This might be a dramatic fight coming up here against Trinex.
And remember, he does not have half magic. I believe he may still have a green goo, so it's less dangerous, but he doesn't have much room for error.
Oh, he's got no room for error now.
No, none whatsoever. Even with the red mail, Trinex can kill him with 1 hit. And the net goes out, and he dodges it.
Oh, Trinex trying to do his best.
I think.
Oh, that was close.
Oh my gosh.
This is gonna be tight. Oh, there's 1.
1 hit.
Oh
no! Oh, Raikou. But again, he's not that far from Trinex.
This is just a time sink at this point now.
Yeah. Oh.
Time he cannot afford to lose.
Not at all, as JC is going through pod in go mode.
And this is something that JC would be comfortable here. This Trinex would be no problem to him at this point.
Oh, man. Again, it's one of those things that you hate to see happen.
Absolutely.
But he's got another shot. And I believe he still does have Medicine of Magic. Now, one thing that one of our commentator colleagues, Cross Product, I think, pointed out the other night is, and it was the same with me, is that when we were kids, we didn't know that you could just hit one of Trinex's heads once with the rod and then attack it with the sword. We thought you had to hit every hit on the heads with the fire or ice rod, so we always had to either have half magic and potion.
Getting down the heads.
Come on,
he's got another chance at this. 4 hearts, though. It's gotta have to be extremely careful here. Gets him bopped here. Goes around, and he got him.
Number 2 got him. Woo! Oh, I was holding my breath there, gritting my teeth. Last thing I wanted to see is, some of the runners, as talented as they are, to die twice to Trinex like that would have just been heartbreaking.
And then the Raikou now with the crystal out of Turtle Rock. Where is he going to go next? He's got Palace of Darkness and Swamp Palace still to do. JC has half of Palace of Darkness still to do, as well as Turtle Rock. So, This is still a close race here.
And since he can go through Swamp Palace without opening but one chest, you know, it looks like he's down, but he just completed the most time-consuming dungeon.
Oh, nice decision there by JC, knocking off the mini Helmosaur with the silver arrows. Where in the world can these boots be?
Yeah. And JC...
Well, there's the Quake.
There's the Quake. But JC just got the big key, but is still searching chests.
Again, I think JC wants the boots.
I mean, can you...
He wants...
You can't blame him.
It's not... Yeah. I mean, you still run that possibility that the boots could still hinder your progress here in Ganon's Tower. I mean, if a key turns up to be on there and you need all your keys, that could become a problem. Oh, Raikou loses Kiki. He does not have enough rupees.
Oh, no.
He's got 101 rupees at this point. Oh, 106.
Just
107.
3 more.
And there it is.
Ooh. My gosh. And the other thing, you know, before we had the near catastrophe here with Kiki, the thing I was thinking with JC is, as we discussed earlier, JC is up 1-0 in this match. So yeah, maybe he is looking for the boots because he believes he can afford to take that risk. You know, at 111 with only 1.5 dungeons before Ganon's Tower, you gotta think he's thinking he's probably making pretty darn good time.
And that does come into the playing here, and Raikou's got to probably have to make sure that he does not over-tilt himself, because if he tilts himself, he's going to lose this race.
Raikou and JC, now it doesn't look like they're going to high-five through here, because JC is heading to the boss. But they are both in the same dungeon at the same time, and again, you know, Raikou, once he completes Pod, only has a quick Swamp Palace to go through.
Yep, whereas JC still has to go through Turtle Rock, and Turtle Rock was not necessarily the easiest to pass. In fact, you had to go through the final room to get the last key there.
And regardless, whether you're in Go mode or not, Turtle Rock is time-consuming.
Raikou having a little bit of problems with the mimics, but gets to the second one taken down. And now time for the slowest treadmill without boots.
Yeah, this is another one of those rooms, and he availed himself incredibly well in that room without boots, but boots can make that room significantly easier.
And this is a good decision here by Raikou. He's going to go for safety here. He knows the room to the right has fairies. And he's going to go ahead and bottle as many of them as he possibly can.
Why not? The time lost is approximately, what, 12 seconds there? That's a risk I'd be willing to make.
Just to draw something in the chat, there's somebody saying they should add the seeds to the HUD. What they do with the seeds is they do not make the numbers public to the racers. That way they can't go ahead and go backdoor it so they can take a look at the spoiler log before the races. That is the reason why they can't put the numbers into the HUD here, as far as the restream is concerned.
And just to allay anyone's concerns, there are a very, very small number of admins in this tournament as raikourider gets the powder. But there are a very small number of admins in this tournament. They are the only ones that have access to the spoiler logs. They generate the race seeds, and no one else, not the commentators, have no idea what item is where.
Well, we were told wrong. They're talking about the seed number as far as what seed these guys are. But JC ended up picking up the single arrow from the Helmosaurs, we're told. And Raikourider now making his way through Palace of Darkness. The question is what will he search for after he is done at getting the big key? Is he going to do what JC did and continue to search for chests? Raikou Rider.
I know if I were him, I would not, because I know that I am down 1, and this race is going to decide my tournament life. I would be going for speed, and more speed, because I have Butter Sword, I have Red Mail.
There he goes. Raikou is doing it. He is going for... He is going for right straight to Helmasaur.
And you got to think that that's exactly the right decision for him to make.
It is. It is. Like, we don't know where the boots are going to be. The boots could be in a very trollless place. For all we know, it could be in the validation chest.
This is interesting. So, raikourider just needs to get to Helmasaur King and then go through Swamp Palace. And Jaysee is going to be going through Turtle Rock. So, this is still anybody's race here.
This should be a very fun finale here to this race. I really like how this is going to be coming down towards the very finish. Don't forget, Raikou's going to have to make his way back up to the mountain. That's where Jaysee's going to have a small amount of an advantage, is the fact that his walk after Crystal number 7 is right just across Death Mountain to the finale.
And the chat just pointed out, wouldn't it be awesome if the boots were required, as you said earlier, Rick, if the boots were required to get the big key and the boots are in the double-chested fairy? Whew.
Well, wouldn't that be something?
That would be absolutely amazing.
And that, of course, pointing out the fact that this is Crystal number 5. So it is possible.
It is entirely possible. And Raikou is heading into Helmasaur King right now, while Jaysee has fallen off of his platform due to the electric jellyfish.
That's why you cannot try to strike them while you're on your platform. Because if you get zapped, you're off the platform. Now, I'm surprised Raikou doesn't do the holding your sword trick out while he's hammering him the 17 times needed. Because it's been told, and I've seen it myself, that by just holding out your sword while you hammer it extends your hammer hitbox.
I've learned something today. Thank you, Rick.
You're welcome. Single arrow pickup there for raikourider, and now we are tied 6 crystals apiece again. He's heading to Swamp. Jaysee and Turtle Rock. Here we go, guys.
And let's
have some fun.
Absolutely. The suspense is killing me, Rick.
I think this is going to be a fantastic finale here. Don't forget, raikourider wins this game. We have a game 3 coming up tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. If Jaysee wins this game, he's out to face Evil Ash, the number 1 seed of the tournament, or of the bracket stage.
And yeah, we are commentators, and we are supposed to be, completely unbiased. But darn it, I would love to see this go to a 3rd game, and I think the chat would too. The more races, the merrier.
Right now, Raikou heading into Swamp. If he goes right straight to Argus, I would say his going to be extremely tight, like within maybe a minute of each other, going into Ganon's Tower.
Where was the big key in Swamp Palace? I have completely forgotten.
Doesn't really matter. You don't need the big key.
True, that's right. You don't need it. That's right. So let's see how quickly he can get through this.
For veteran runners, you don't need the big key in Swamp or Skullwoods, but also Ice Palace.
Correct. Bomb Jump completely skips the need for the big key.
And that right there should be the only chest that raikourider is going to have to open up.
Jaysee got to head outside on Mimic Cave Ridge here.
He's not going to go and visit the mimics.
Yeah. Right. And Raikou, let's hope he does not flood the key like he did last game.
This time he won't worry about it. Because if he's going blitz straight to the boss, he's not even going to touch that room. And he's going to be glad he doesn't need to touch that room.
That's true.
Wouldn't that be funny if the big key was on Ganon's torch?
It would be awesome.
But the boots were in his tower?
He'd have to do possibly 2 loops around. See it now. Jaysee is heading into the final third, I would guess, of Turtle Rock here, while Raikou is very, very close to Argus here. As you pointed out earlier, though, Rick, having Turtle Rock right next to Ganon's tower, maybe that wasn't the best play for him running into Turtle Rock earlier.
Yeah, and that's where you're going to see probably him lose a few seconds here. He's going to be going up against Argus just before Jaysee goes up against Trinex. And Jaysee now knows that the key is in this final chest. Oh, nice use of the Cane of Samaria there to get rid of the orb.
I don't care what the official name for those enemies are. They try and call them beetles. Those aren't beetles, those are squid.
I call them orbs. I'm gonna stick with that name.
That too. Both of those are better than beetles because they look nothing like beetles.
Ooh, Jaysee trying to go with the Cane of Samaria to trigger the crystal switch did not quite work out his way, as Raikou going up against Argus.
So definitely here Jaysee is probably going to end up with a bit of a lead. This could come down to left side versus right side in Ganon's tower.
This is going to be tight, guys. This is really going to be tight. Raikourider getting the big key out of Argus here. Jaysee finishing off with the first phase of Trinex. And swing, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3. That's the Trinex down. Alright guys, here we go. 1 hour 23. These two are going to be heading into Ganon's tower. Jaysee's going to get there first before Raikourider does, but it's going to be a matter of about a minute, depending on what Raikou does. He might opt to go buy potions. Alright, there are 22 possibilities where this big key could turn out to be. I know a lot of people want to see number 3 for some reason. Pick a number between 1 and 22. Tell me what you think the big key is going to be in.
And Rick, yet again, I'm going to go with 13. Eventually, I will be right.
I'm going to go with 18.
18. You're hoping for Ganon's tower to troll our runners today. Okay, it was 19 our last race, so...
Once again, if it's number 3, these guys are in trouble.
Absolutely.
If the small key is on the torch, these guys might be in trouble.
It's true, so... Everybody give us your bless RNG and torch hype.
Jaysee into Ganon's tower, 1 hour 24:09.
Raikourider's going to be about 30 seconds behind him.
About 45 after the cutscene. And we find one of the sword increases. And the key. Here's the moment of truth.
So Jaysee is going to go left side, so let's see if Raikou decides to take the risk and go right.
It's a small key. That can be interesting depending on where this big key turns out to be. In other words, if they have to go the full distance of Ganon's tower, that could come into play. Raikourider and Ganon's Tower, 1 hour 25:03, 55 seconds apart.
Rick, I just had an evil thought. Let's say that the key is behind a locked door, that they need, the big key is behind a locked door, that they need that small key for, and the boots are in Ice Palace or Misery Mire.
Unbelievable.
That's something that, like, Wizrobe would come up with on purpose.
Did he develop the seed?
I don't know if he did or not, but that is an upcoming event here at the end of May, the Wizathon.
That's right. They skip a key door by not going from left to right, so
that's
our
true.
hopes and dreams might be shattered just a little bit here, but I like the idea of some suspense in this seed here as JC gets ready to come up to chest number 9.
And unfortunately, the chat did not allow me to revel in my evil thought for very long.
Well, chat's realistic.
That's true. All right, so this is really going to come down to the Aghanim 2 fight, the Gauntlet. It's all execution from here on out.
And that's where JC would have an advantage.
I have to believe you're correct, Rick.
Oh, we find the blue mail. Also, both shield upgrades after getting the fighter's shield early in this race. Both other shields were in Ganon's Tower.
Raikou forgetting to lower the orange pegs.
By the way, the only way to skip the next transport is by damage boosting, and there's JC pulling it off exactly perfectly. Oh, also they can't bonk right into the
What is
they cannot bonk into the pods this time around. They don't have the boots.
Looks like JC is gonna try a bomb jump here.
I'm interested in what he's up to here. Like, he is trying to set up a bomb jump. Yes, he is. There we go. And there we go.
No!
No!
Oh, trolled by the squiddies.
Orb says no!
The squiddies said, oh, nay, nay.
And no! And Raikou is catching up.
This will be interesting. Will Raikou even attempt the bomb jump here?
And that bomb's not going to even work right there.
Hey, he's got 23 more, so...
Raikou's in the same room.
Oh my gosh.
JC gets it.
He gets it. Will Raikou... If Raikou gets the bomb jump first time here, we really, really have a race.
There's the big key in number 14. And Raikou just taking the conventional way to find out where he's got to go, but he falls.
Oh my gosh. So Bob chest hype for the big key. Raikou is going to...
He's going to torch the... put the fire rod on the torch there to find out the room pattern. But this is still a tight race here. Raikou's going to find out the big key really soon. Get through this little puzzle. And he will be mirroring his way to the top of Ganon's Tower really soon. As JC finishing off of the mimics here. And there's the big key pickup there for Raikou, mirroring himself up.
And it's going to come down. It is all execution from here on out. I said it before, I'll say it again. It is Gauntlet, Aghanim 2, and the Ganon fight.
And by the way, they can't bonk to get to the fairies here.
That's true.
Remember, JC wins this, he's on to the next round. Raikou needs this to stay alive in this tournament. Jaysee entering the gauntlet, 1 hour 29:55. Raikou, not that far behind him, has to watch his health though. He does have fairies in the backup. He got them back in the Palace of Darkness.
He has, God, is it 2 or 3? He has at least 2 backup fairies. Jaysee having a little bit of trouble here.
Raikou's getting bodied by the stone traps. Jaysee finishing up for the gauntlet. And Raikou getting it. He's at the gauntlet. 1 hour 30:43. About 50 seconds behind.
And we have seen runners multiple times in this tournament die on Ganon, fall while fighting Ganon.
And how is Raikou still alive here? Jaysee finishing off against the Lamola fight. And Raikou getting knocked around and gets beamed.
Oh. Holding our breath with every single BMOS shot.
And finishes off that room. I'm surprised he's not doing bombos, but he doesn't have half magic, so he's probably not wanting to do that strategy at this point.
No, because he's going to need almost a full magic bar for the, or a half magic bar for the torches in the room that Jaysee is entering right now.
This is still tight. And
Jaysee falling off there.
And the opposite falling off this time, but this time it says a time save to get him back over the other side as Raikou finishing going up against the Lamolas.
1 down.
And Raikou's done with the Lamolas. Jaysee up to the 6th floor, 1 hour 32:16.
Raikou getting some refills before he heads up to the next floor. While Jaysee is in the mini Helmasaur room. Got him.
And he's getting hit pretty badly here. He does have a fairy in reserve.
Jaysee very close to Troll Dorm too. That's another thing. We have seen Troll Dorm live up to his name here in Ganon's Tower. Could that be a difference maker in this race?
And you can't boot him. You just have to take him the harder way here. Gets the first hit and falls down!
Raikourider with a huge chance here to make up some time.
And he falls down again!
And he falls again! And every time you fall, Troll Dorm refills all of his hit points. So that first hit that he got the first time is completely irrelevant.
Raikou has refreshed his magic at this point. Jaysee gets the first hit on Mulder. He gets the second one. Raikou up to the 6th floor, 133:37. Validation not checked.
Cannot blame him at all. Of course, he doesn't know what we know, and that is that Raikou is right on his heels.
Oh, absolutely. And Raikou having problems with the bombs yet again. That one's not going to work. He's too far up. That one's not going to work. That's too far up.
That one will work.
That one does. And he will not get the magic increase or the refill. Jaysee, I think it's 1 hit or 2 hits on Aghanim.
Ooh, Raikou almost falls against Troll Dorm.
Backing away. And, oh, he got him. Jaysee having some problems against Aga too.
And a lot of times that's just up to RNG, but he does take out Aghanim too.
Aga 2 down, 20 rupees in the validation chest. Here we go.
So we saw Jaysee fall against Troll Dorm. If he does the same thing against Ganon, That could end up costing him the race. This is, by no means, is JC's lead here safe.
Yeah, Raikou going up against Dagger 2 had a phenomenal setup here, but I think he may have gotten only 2. I think he got 2. Another whole grain breakfast, by the way, and he gets 1. There's 2. That's 5. And there's the 6. Raikou's off to Ganon.
So JC's in phase 2 here.
Phase 3, the final stage before the silvers. 4 hits. And JC gets them on over the corner. Asking if they got the Light World silver arrows. Gets them.
Both of our runners did.
Gets him 2. Does not get the torch, but that doesn't matter. Gets him perfectly set up. This is going to be a double. That's it.
Double, that is it.
JC's moving on to face Evil Ash in the round of 32.
And wow, in heartbreaking fashion for Raikourider. He had a chance, but JC corrected from his earlier I'm not going to say mistakes, because Trolldorm can screw up anybody's run, right? So I won't say that was a mistake, but from the bad luck he had against Trolldorm and darn near flawless Ganon fight.
1:36:32 is official time on Speedruns Live. Raikourider about ready to finish off against Ganon here, getting him over to the final stage. This is still going to be a very respectable time here for Raikou. And if we're talking about in a different kind of opponent, he might have been able to get a better setup here. And oh no, he
fell. Oh man,
painful.
Absolutely painful. Bootless seed, though. One thing that at the end of the day here, no boots for either one of our runners today. But that's a key. That's key there, because without boots, he can't get the fairy off of that tree.
I had to ask you this question. I had to ask the chat this question. Guess the number of bonks here that JC's going to have. The amount of bonks here. Pick a number. Go ahead and put it in chat. If you are exactly correct and you're the only person to be exactly correct, we'll give you $50,000 in Monopoly money.
Yeah, I'll give him 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. Raikou does have a couple fairies, as we pointed out earlier, but it's one of
I see so many people putting 0 in the chat, so I don't think we're going to be giving away that Monopoly money.
No, I don't think so either. I probably have that much Monopoly money over the years. I don't know. Copies of Monopoly have been bought in my family.
Raikou now getting over to the final stage again, and once again, this time, hopefully can get him knocked off and not fall down. That was a heartbreaking fall, because he had him on 3 hits at that point. I think he just got a little too greedy trying to get that last hit in there. He does get the torch glitch. Ganon does teleport, gets him set up. Maybe a double. No. That'll be a single right there. Has to start thinking about getting a torch relit. So it's going to let Ganon move over the side here. Gets himself all set up here, and that'll be 3. And Raikou going to be finishing up with a sub 140. That's a really splendid time, too.
Well, I say a lot of things repeatedly, but it's because they're true. And that is that Raikou has absolutely nothing to be ashamed of here. Fantastic run. Just so happens that a couple unlucky breaks ended up being the difference maker there.
And we welcome both of our runners here, Raikourider and Jaysee87. What a phenomenal run you guys had. Thrilling to the end.
I lost that race entirely because I died to Trinek.
Entirely? Nice.
Entirely.
You think about it, that was probably part of the time gap right there, but, you know, you both running, well, I can't say running.
Walking
Nope,
percent.
bootless seed.
Pumping.
So we obviously got some questions for both of you here. First of all, how did it feel to be going through a bootless seed?
Fantastic.
It
was nice taking that breath.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm done. Go ahead.
I was extremely nervous in Ganon's Tower.
Why is that?
I saw the small key on the torch, and if the big key was on the right side, I would have to find the boots.
But as somebody pointed out in chat, you don't go through the one key door there that combines the two staircases, so that's where that one key goes.
Yeah. So you should be fine, keys.
But we did get nervous for a little bit until chat cleared it for us. But
Yeah.
my goodness, just the fact that both of you guys went so long without the boots, and it turned out to be a really interesting seed. Now, JC, what prompted you to continue checking chest even though you were in go mode in the Palace of Darkness?
Just in case. So like, I figured I'd go ahead and clear out one dungeon, and probably just happened to be it, since most of the chests are pretty close to each other.
Also, I have to explain that fall to Ganon. That happened exactly as the done came.
Exactly.
No, like the done came, and then I fell to Ganon like maybe a second or two later. It was completely tilt.
On the restream, it was a little bit longer than that, like probably more like 10-15 seconds, but yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even know where I got Cane, Red Cane. Because I checked pedestals, like, okay, let's see if boots are there.
Sorry
so
about
I know
that.
if I can.
Red Cane turned out to be at the desert.
Was that the Trinex drop? Not the Trine, but the Landmo drop.
Yes. It
Yeah,
was.
the Lamo drop.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to it. I did not even realize I got the cane.
Speaking of Landmo 1, I have to highlight that. So that was beautiful.
Oh, that was a beautiful fight. Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
a tremendous fight. What was your thoughts when you knocked him off that fast with the silver arrows?
I have never even come close to doing that before.
Well, there's a place to do that for the first time. A tournament match is it.
So yeah, 6 minute PB for randomizer, not good enough.
Sorry.
That's how I felt when I get my PB against Elminster. Still wasn't 6 minutes and up, but you know, this was two very close races here. Very, very close races. Unfortunately, it turns out to be a 2-0 victory here for JC. Talked about the next round coming up in just a moment here, but Raikou, you gave it quite a great run here. Some thrilling moments and maybe a Trinex death side.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that race was mine if I didn't die to Trinex.
It would have been. I'm assuming that you didn't use that bomb by the 4 chests.
I did. I marked my spot. I marked my spot because I didn't have any fairies. I was really low on health, and I needed to check the laser room for the key. And I obviously had no mirror shield because that was in G Tower. So I marked my place there, and I ended up dying in the laser room probably 3 or 4 times, which is there's nothing unusual about that.
Okay, so you probably had a good 4-minute lead going to T-Rock.
I actually did T-Rock 5th.
Oh, 5th.
The reason why I went up to, I imagine, Rick, you're going to ask me about this. The reason why I went up to T-Rock before doing Swamp and
so Raikou
and Pod.
So Raikou, why did you go up to Turtle Rock when you did?
The reason why I went to Turtle Rock is because at the time I went up to Death Mountain to check, I did not have any way to get to Dark Death Mountain, so I wanted to check the pendant or the medallion there to see if I was in go mode.
And then I noticed that you saw that you had to double back to make sure that you saw what you saw.
I had to make sure, yeah, because I was like, wait, am I actually in go mode? Okay, I'm in go mode if the big key is not on the torch.
And it turned out to be in go mode. I mean, both of you actually entered go mode right about the very same time for different reasons.
Yep. But we would be absolutely remiss if we did not say congratulations to both of you for putting on an outstanding race. Particularly the second race, everyone was on the edge of their seat. Chat was hyped up. Both of you did a fantastic job. Obviously, JC, congratulations to you for advancing to the next round. But Raikou, you did an amazing job as well.
That's the best I could hope for, because the only mistake that I made that was that really cost me that race was dying to Trinex. I think that's probably the most well-played randomizer seed I've ever done, and if my best isn't enough, then so be it.
And it was your personal race best by 6 minutes, so you take that and hold your head up. You gave a phenomenal race, so it was a great job, and you gave everyone here quite a good thrill.
And that's actually a good thing, because because by JC going on, this avoids a potential sticky scheduling situation, because I'm going to be going to a marathon the week of the 21st, and there would be pretty much no way that I would be able to play a match that week.
All right, well, speaking of the next round, JC, you're going to be facing off against the tournament's #1 seed, Evil Ash. Your thoughts?
Actually, my side of the bracket isn't really too bad. Between me and Ash, it's going to be a toss-up. I can beat him in randomizer, he can beat me in randomizer. A lot of it's just going to be on who made the luckier gamble between us two, I think. The really strong power players are stacked on the other side, so...
JC is throwing down the gauntlet, my friends.
Maybe throwing a little bit of shade at the same time.
Yeah, so it's basically going to be whatever happens is whatever happens, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, good luck to you in this next round. Hopefully you guys can give us such another thrilling set of races like you two did tonight.
Oh yeah, I think me and Ash will have some fun races.
By the way,
item time.
Nice.
That's
by the
really
way,
fast.
By the way, the bonk count for both of these runners were 0, and we see plenty of you people putting 0 in the chat. So because there was more than one winner in here, we do not get to give you our $50,000 Monopoly Money prize. Thank you for playing. Try again later.
Womp, 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 womp.
Any closing thoughts as you're leaving the tournament here, Raikou, tonight?
I'm just, in a way, kind of glad that it's over and I can actually start focusing on the marathon weeks.
So, once again, be sure to follow both of these runners, raikourider, Jaysee87. Thank you very much, guys, for a great pair of races tonight.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun tonight. Overall friendly seeds.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised, because every time I enter one of these tournaments, I seem to just roll the awful seeds.
And then it must be really happy to have a go mode in 58 minutes. All right, well, that's going to do it for the Link to the Past randomizer here on Speed Gaming 2. And I think that actually does it for Link to the Past randomizer for tonight. There will be more Link to the Past randomizer coming up tomorrow. And Phantom Ryu, you have that scheduled.
I do. So tomorrow, Sunday, May 7th, starting at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Time on Speed Gaming, we will have Iggy versus Cruel Game 2. At 3:30 p.m. over on Speed Gaming 2, we will have Swerve versus Dodecahedron. At 6 o'clock tomorrow, we will have... Well, we will not have, because we will not have a third match in this particular between these particular two, since JC won them both. So those two matches tomorrow, Iggy versus Cruel and Swerve versus Dodecahedron. We'll also have Dark Magician and EOD Tex on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday if needed at 9:30 p.m. So that's what's coming up next in the 2017 Link to the Past randomizer tournament. Rick, what else is coming up on Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2?
Well, right now in progress, we have Banjo-Kazooie, which I'm sure we're going to be hosting once after we say our sign-off here. So that's going on right now on the Speed Gaming channel. Coming up tomorrow, The action on Speed Gaming begins at 9 a.m. with the Metroid Zero Missions 100% tournament, with races at 9 a.m. as well as 12 p.m. on Speed Gaming. Then here on Speed Gaming 2, there's another race at 2 p.m. Link to the Past Randomizer, as you mentioned before, 2 o'clock on Speed Gaming, 3:30 here on Speed Gaming 2. Then coming up here on Speed Gaming 2 at 6 p.m. will be the Mega Man 3 tournament. And then Banjo-Kazooie coming up on both channels on Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 to wrap up our evening. So I think that's going to do it for us. For Feasel, who's been manning the controls behind us. For Number Play, who's been manning the tracker for us. And we do thank you very much for your help and support. For Phantom Ryu, and also for the rest of the gang here at Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2, I'm Adirondack Rick saying thank you guys for joining us. And Phantom Ryu, take us on over to Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes, coming up next will be the Banjo-Kazooie on Speed Gaming. Have a classic N64 game. So everyone, have a good night from all of us at Speed Gaming 2, and from the Link to the Past 2017 Randomizer Tournament. Good night and good luck.
Good night.